We just got a new client, and she evidently is a very successful lawyer in one of the parts of her life. She's also the founder of a company in another part of her life, and now she is a podcaster. And I have been on the phone with her, Zoom, 3 times, and she is world-class at taking feedback. And after our call yesterday, I got off and said, 1, what a great person to work with, and 2, she's going to win because she literally says, tell me what I'm doing wrong.
It's very important to know when you do know what you're talking about and when you don't. And it's even more important to know what other people actually know versus what you think they do. And you cannot take guidance and feedback from someone who has never accomplished the thing you're trying to accomplish.
Next Level Nation, today for episode number 2102, can you win without feedback? I told Alan right before this, I said there are certain people who, as podcasters and as clients and people I get the privilege to work with, that I know can win and most likely will win. And there are also, right? And there are also on the other end where there are some people that, whether they just don't have the self-belief yet, whether they don't have the self-worth yet, whether they're naive, whatever it is, I just can't give them the amount of feedback that they need yet. Now, maybe that's...
Isn't that an interesting thing? You can always tell.
Yeah.
They're not ready to hear this. They're not open to this.
Fragility. How fragile is somebody in terms of...
Yeah, but how do you tell? How do you tell?
There's tells. A lot of it is just the way they react. Okay, great example. This person is on the upper end of financial abundance. So they went out and bought like a $2,000 camera. They just went all out. They have so much equipment. I was like, you don't need all this equipment, just so you know, but whatever. You can use it if you want.
Good for them, man. That's good.
And in real time, something happened with their mic, and I was trying to help them fix it. And it was just clear the way that I could say, no, trust me, I'm certain it's not that. I'm certain. She's like, all right, it's not that. Cool. What's next on the... And it's just, there's other people where you almost let them take the line out. Okay, I'm just going to let you do your thing. When you get tired, you'll say, oh, what do you think, Kev? This person is not that. They want to optimize their time. They want to get as much done in as little time as possible, and they want to be accurate more than they want to feel good. So I think there's a lot of tells with when you test giving feedback, how somebody responds. That's probably the best answer I have.
Well, I'm fighting everything in me to not go down a different road than Kevin intended on this episode. So we're going to do a hybrid model here. We're going to do what Kevin wanted and what I wanted, and hopefully it will be a combination of what the listener wants and needs.
Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
We'll see. So you said fragile, how fragile they are. And I thought about a concept called anti-fragile, which apparently, so it's a book by Nassim Taleb, and it's this idea that the more you attack someone, the more you attack something, the stronger it gets. And we talked a little bit about that in the last episode, is the more you bully someone, they get up, aim higher, work harder, get smarter. And they get up stronger and faster each time. They get up better each time. And that is what I recommend for everybody. Like, life is going to throw shit at you, feedback, positive and negative. If you get up better every time, in the long run, you become something extremely empowered. What else came up for me is, and this is kind of where I want to take the episode, and we'll hybrid with what Kevin wanted. You and I can both tell at this point who will be successful and who won't. And I'm talking about external results. I'm not talking about intrinsic spiritual value. I'm talking about when it comes to whether or not they will get the outcome they actually want. I have one client I'm thinking of right now. I said, you are winning. Isn't it so awesome to finally be winning at life? Before, you were playing short-term games, perception, status, this, that, survival. Now you're actually winning at life. You used to make so many irrational choices. You used to be so emotional. Now she's just winning at everything. Health, wealth, and love. She's winning in all 3 categories. And, well, technically 2, but self-love, so 3. Self-love. And it was really cool. I said, it's really awesome to see, because back in the day, I was so concerned for you. I was so concerned. Like, I'm not trying to be some preachy guy right now, but I can I have a pretty strong understanding of whether or not someone is aligned with their potential and a bright future. Whenever I meet someone, I always think about their thinking. What they say, think, do, feel, and believe is an indicator of whether or not they're on the path. And the path is a metaphor for somewhere great, reaching your own unique potential, growth, impact, profitability, being successful, healthy, wealthy, and in love. I can keep going. But that's a gift. I've always honed that. And right now, Kev's on the path. 0 to 10. If 10 is perfect alignment, you're very close to 10. You're the closest to 10 you've ever been, for sure. I'm certain of that. So your future right now, your trajectory, I always say trajectory matters more than present results. Why? Because the future is going to be the present soon. And I'm always looking at trajectory. I never look at the now. Okay, your birthday? Great. You had a great weekend. That doesn't mean your future's bright. Having a blowout birthday party when I was 26, we went to Mohegan, we ran amok. That if you looked at just my life in that weekend, you would have thought I was on cloud 9, best life ever. But that's not true. My trajectory was actually down, not up. I think it was up, but definitely down in some ways. I care about trajectory way more than current results. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about how can we tell? Because if we can tell, number one, they might not be ready to hear it. I pulled up a readiness score by Aura. And the readiness score tracks your resting heart rate, your heart rate variability, your recovery index, your sleep. The readiness score is a metaphor for, hey, I get an 85. It says optimal. You are ready for a tough workout. You got great sleep. You're hydrated. Let's rock and roll. Let's get after it. In coaching, there's a readiness score. There's someone I was on a free session with. I'm like, honestly, she's like, well, how do I work with you? Like, how much does it cost? And I said, to be completely transparent with you, I'm not even sure I want to work with you.
Yeah.
You're already resistant to everything I'm saying. She's like, no, I'm not. No, you are. It's okay. This is a free session. We're good. Like, we can go our separate ways after this. But I'm not going to try to coach you. This is going to be terrible. You're not open. You're not humble. You're not ready. You're momming me. Like, listen, I'm leagues ahead of you in every area, and you're still trying to tell me stuff. You're not humble enough to be coached, and I'm not interested. I've spent too much of my life coaching people who don't want to be coached. I'm fucking done with that. But how do you know? Like, what are the tells?
I don't know if I have a good answer. A fairly high... It's either a fairly high personal development set point or a fairly high humility set point. I think those are probably the two best answers I can give, because you and I have both worked with people that aren't super into self-improvement or personal development. They haven't done a ton of work, but they're very humble. Awesome. Great. That usually works really well. And then
how do you tell humility?
You can just tell by the way they respond to what you say. I think. I don't know. I think it's as much a feeling as it is a knowing. I know that's, I feel. I don't know. There are certain people that I can just tell are super humble.
Can you give me a hypothetical example, maybe change the name or give just a first name of someone who you know can't win?
Yeah.
They're not humble. They probably don't have high work ethic. Like, I can guess the character traits of this person.
It's not even that. They have high work ethic. They're relatively humble. They're not interested in hearing the inconvenient truth. They're interested in hearing convenient truths only. And
that's fire.
I think that's what it is. They want accuracy. Again, I go back to...
No, they don't want accuracy.
Sorry, they want certainty. They don't want accuracy. Next. What's that book?
Shit.
Morgan Housel. Same as ever.
Yeah.
Same as ever.
No. Yes.
Same
as ever by Morgan Housel, yeah.
Great book. Could I tell you what it's about? Not really, but it's essentially about thinking more accurately.
Right here, baby.
And there is a quote in that book, and it's the best quote I've ever heard in any of the books I've ever listened to or read. And again, Alan recommended it to me. Most people are looking for certainty more than they're looking for accuracy. Meaning, if I tell you something and it's not true, but you believe it's true and it makes you feel some type of way, you'll latch on to that even if it's not real.
Okay. I usually go into the car metaphor, self-driving car metaphor.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
Because our listeners have heard that 1,000 times.
Okay, what do you got?
If you're a new listener, I apologize in advance. I'm not going to share it again. What is your way to explain? I am obsessed with accurate thinking. If my mental map does not match reality, I know I can't make good choices. It's like thinking the bishop can do what the rook does in chess. You can't win the game. You can't win the game if you don't understand the rules. Explain why accurate thinking matters so much, because you are someone who I think didn't understand a lot. And I know people think I pick on you. I'm not trying to be mean. You didn't understand how the game worked fully.
For sure.
And now you understand way better, not fully, but way better. And now I think you're going to be way more successful. And it's very clear now in hindsight that you couldn't have been successful without learning how it all worked. Mm-hmm. Is that obvious, right? Not only
definitely,
podcasting, but...
Yeah, not to the degree. No, I mean, to some degree, but not to the degree I desired, for sure.
Okay.
Right.
How do you explain why accurate thinking matters so much? Because I think that's the main reason people are not successful. They just don't think accurately. The scientific method can't work if you're wrong about everything.
Because there are things out there that have relatively concrete answers. And if you don't have the relatively concrete answers, you can't be successful in it. There's certain ways.
What's an example of that?
Getting in shape.
Perfect.
There are certain physiological fundamentals that are what they are. It requires progressive overload to build muscle. Calories in versus calories out matters way more than most people want to admit. Is it everything? No. Is it a giant portion of it?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. We can't say 80% and then 100.
Yeah, 80%.
But there are certain things that are concrete. You're not going to be successful at business if you don't do it consistently. That is factual.
Yeah.
Or at least this is factual. You will be less consistent. You will be less successful if you are less consistent. That is factual. It's just an input versus an output thing.
That's why I love math.
It makes sense.
Math is mathematically, I can show someone the math. Remember when I did this with you?
Yeah.
You put $1 in a bank account for a certain number of years, it comes to a certain amount. If you put it in for 50 years, $1, grow it by 0.1% for 50 years, you can do this. It grows to 84 million. I rounded up, 84 million. If you take weekends off, I showed Kev.
It's so
insane.
You can't even, I could not even fathom the guess. It's like, well, 84.
I think it was I think it was 470,000 or something. I can do it.
It was drastically less than I expected.
Yeah. It's not even close. Just for weekends off.
Because if we talk about what really matters when it comes to accomplishing, it's accurate expectations, accurate approach, accurate time perspective. All that is awareness. It's accuracy. Not, well, I feel like if I do it once a week, that'll be enough. It might feel good and it might be fulfilling and you might enjoy that, but that might not be enough. Exercising once a week is a great place to start. But it's most likely not going to get you the body of your dreams.
No, it definitely won't. Brother, it definitely won't.
Unless the body of your dreams is not super high. That's where things get wonky.
Brother, once a week.
It's not going to get
You're
me.
shitting on me for a half hour a day every day.
You want to live until you're 120 and you want to be the most aesthetic, natural physique who has ever lived. You got to exercise 14 times a week, never mind 7.
Yeah. Fair.
So, but
is that why you're harder on me? Because the goal? That's it?
100%.
That simple?
Yeah, my goal's not as high as
what
yours.
if I said I want a mediocre physique? Would you be proud of me?
I'd say you take every other day off. You're good. You're on your way.
Nice. Everything's based on the goal with
yeah.
Kev. That's hilarious.
Well, doesn't it have to be?
I guess.
I feel like it has to be.
Yeah,
but
for
there are some things that just have actual answers. It's that.
Can I challenge that? Everything
please.
does. Everything does.
I know,
we just
but
don't know the answer.
So there are some things that are like well-researched answers.
Yeah, like the world is not flat, despite what people think.
Yes.
There's certain people that still think that, which is mind-blowing to me. We have scientific proof.
Lots of proof.
We have a lot of proof.
Lots of proof.
Water is H2O. Gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. Right, so there's certain truths that are just true. And
when did they invent gravity? What year was it when they invented it?
I believe it was circa 1973.
1973.
Yeah, a man by Newton.
Gerard Gravitae?
Yeah. He invented gravity.
And then before that, what happened? People just floated around and shit?
Mostly, yeah.
Cool.
Mostly just floated around.
I missed that.
They were certain about it. So that's good.
Look, this is a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game to just seek certainty, because certainty can be found in misleading things, and it is all the time, right?
Banjo minnow, baby.
Banjo minnow, the microwave bag where you could get crispy bacon didn't work.
Didn't work. What else? The Wonder Mop. You ever
No,
see
I think the Wonder Mop actually worked pretty well.
Oh, did it work?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it actually worked pretty well.
Do you, when I say things that are too good to be true are usually too good to be true, do you agree with that? I do. If it sounds too good to be true, it is.
Yes, and we're trying to build a business where that is true. So when I say to somebody, this is it, this is what you get, and this is how much it costs, I want it to sound too good to be true. And then I want it to be so good. So I would say,
So everyone but us.
I would say more often than not. Yeah. Like by 95% of the time. Yeah.
I think that maturing in life is the stripping away of almost all naivete. You just, when you're young, you're so naive. I was so naive. I didn't mean to be. I just didn't get it, right? And I don't think I was any more naive than other kids. Definitely not. But it's important that I say that. At the end of the day, this woman that you're referring to, the client that you know will be she has a high statistical probability of success, right? 0 to 10.
In podcasting?
Yeah. Yeah, you've been coaching. How many
9.
podcasters have you coached?
I don't know. 500.
Okay. Of the 500, where would you put her? Top 1%?
1%.
Top 1%. Okay. Give me 3 reasons why.
She's already successful, so she already has so many of the success fundamentals. That's
Nice.
1. 2, she just takes action. You tell her to order something, she does it right then, and she says, okay, well, I'll set up a call when it comes in. Awesome. That. And she knows what she doesn't know, and she's humble enough to take feedback on what she doesn't know. And she's open to constructive feedback. Those are the 3.
Fire.
Next Level Nation, what is happening? If you've thought to yourself, I want to try coaching, but you don't really know where to start, group coaching would be a wonderful place for you. That's really why we created it in the first place. We start a new round every 90 days. So if you're hearing this, go to the website, nextleveluniverse.com, and we have the landing page where you can actually hold your spot right now. Even if there's a group going on right now, you can still lock your spot for the next one. The biggest thing that we've seen is as we get closer and closer to the date, unfortunately, some people end up missing. The group fills up and they can't do it, and then they end up regretting that. So please head over to the website. The link will be in the show notes, and we would love to see you there. What's the point in hiring a coach if you don't let them tell you the fucking truth? It doesn't, what's the point?
Bad. Yeah,
It's like hiring a chef and then saying, like, honestly, though, I got tuna.
Little paprika? A little paprika on that?
Yeah. No, we don't. No paprika here. Well, it's in the recipe. Not here, it ain't. Okay, well, what are your thoughts on chicken? No, we're not going to do that either. Well, you're really handcuffing me here. What do you want me to make you? A fucking Hot Pocket? What are we doing? What do you want?
Well, this is the challenge, and I've been working on this since I started becoming a coach, which is how do I gain permission to share the hard truth with someone?
Yeah.
There are certain things that I've come at you with, for lack of better phrasing, that I had to wait years for.
Did you actually have to, or do you think you had to?
I think I had to. How much earlier could I have shared what I've shared with you?
I don't know.
Dude, I don't know. Did I
think
overcook the turkey? Did I undercook it?
If you do it in the right way, I think it always has to be attached to the goals. Kev, do you really want what you say you want? Yes, I do. Then this is something I need to tell you that's really going to suck. Do you want to hear it? Yes or no? Now that you frame it that way, let's wait a couple of years. Thanks.
Yeah.
I think that's
Would
the
you
best.
actually say that, though?
No.
That's the problem. No one wants to say that.
No, I would probably ask for context. Like, can you give me context? Like, what does it involve? And then maybe depending on that.
One of the hardest conversations up. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think you have to let the person admit that they want the feedback or admit that they don't. And again, as somebody who is giving feedback, I think it's better to undercook it. Lead light, and then you can get heavier as you go. If you lead heavy, you can't it's already out there. You can't take feedback back. Like, wait, did I say? Oh no, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. Did I say that to you? Oh, I meant to send that to somebody else.
Surety, but I didn't. No, I never said that.
No, I never said that. I didn't just say that right now. I said something else. I say that.
But so, I have a client who has been working with me for a while, and she said, "Can you just tell me what you really think?" She's like, "Just tell me what you really think." I said, "Are you in a good state? Like, how are you feeling? Are you okay?" She's like, "I'm great. Just fucking give it to me." Listen, there's implications. You can't just do that. This is the client that said to me years ago. She said, "Alan, I want you to be as hard on me as you are on yourself." And Emilia knows this person, and I told Emilia that, and Emilia immediately turned to me and said she would die.
Well, it's your job to know that.
But dude, it's so hard to know where that fucking line is, man.
I know.
And you end up under and I end up over. Real quick, I'll share this conversation. We got 12 minutes. One of the hardest conversations I've ever had in coaching. I kid you not, brother. This is, if the person is listening, you know I care deeply about you. I'm a huge fan. I want to see you win. That's actually why I had this conversation with you. Okay. If you're not listening, then we're good. But even if you are, I would say this to you. I pulled up our trajectory in business because they have a company that is very similar to ours. It's trying to help people reach their potential. Okay? And I know what it's taken for you and I to get where we are. I know pretty intimately what it's taken of you and of me and of our team and of everything. And at this stage, this client of mine had never, I think they had $500 a month coming in, 500 euros a month in their entire business. And I pulled up our trajectory, which is significantly more than that, right? Well over $1 million grossed, even at this stage, in our business. So we have grossed over $1 million in our business. And it's, we started with small numbers and then they grew. Okay. Now remember, this is gross revenue. This is before expenses. This is total in. And I pulled up our trajectory and I said, if I'm going to coach you on how to be successful, I have to help you do what we've done, or at least some unique flavor of it when it comes to the fundamentals. You can make it unique to you with your brand and your goals and you and your business partner. But at the end of the day, you have any idea what this has required of Kevin and I? And she said, and I kid you not, she said, "Alan, to be quite honest, I'd be disappointed with your trajectory." I'm not kidding, Kev.
I believe
I
it.
was like, oh, you're not even, I'm 100 times more successful than you. And you'd be disappointed with my results? And she said, "Alan, you trade your time for money. I'm not interested in that." And I said, okay. And in my head, I didn't say it to her, but I said it in my head, "You're 27. What do you mean? Everyone trades time for money." Is there anyone out there watching or listening who doesn't trade their time for money? That's not a thing.
Not while you're
Jeff
young.
Bezos, the owner of Amazon, makes money by working.
Yeah. Well, it's just
So
one
I
of
understand
those,
what she meant, passive income. Whatever.
Yeah.
But passive income isn't passive. You have to
know.
build something and then sustain it and maintain it and manage it and then lead the people that do manage it. I want a self-managing company. There's no such thing. I have a client who is on the board of directors. He still has to direct. That's like buying a home and then not taking care of it at all. Okay, well, I hire people to take care of it. Okay, well, who takes care of the people who pays the invoices? You're going to have to do something. You do more than that. So at the end of the day, no worries. I don't coach this person anymore. But I remember thinking to myself, I think I'm just going to call it. I'm going to call it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not interested. And I told her, I said, "Listen, I'm a business coach. I can't help you if you'd be disappointed with our results when you're not even close. You got to go find someone else because I can't help you win if you don't want to work." And I'm going to say this to all of our listeners. If you're not willing to work, I cannot help you win. There is no such thing as success without work. There's no such thing. That's a fucking lie. It's a lie. And I'm sick and tired of that, dude. I can't even. So.
We had a potential client one time. he has 10 clients. They pay him $10,000 a month. So he makes $100,000 a month, $1.2 million a year just from that. He has other stuff too. And he's like, so how fast can I get to 100,000 listens? Like first couple months. I said, dude, it depends on how much you want to work. He's like, well, you know, you can like pay to be in Forbes and that type of shit. I said, I don't do that shit. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for somebody to pay to play, I ain't the guy. And I never heard from him again. That was the last time I ever heard from him.
And now you're understanding why Kevin and I have to work so hard.
He gave us $1,000, signed up, and then never. I can't get a hold of him.
The end.
I can't get a hold of him.
You know, I just want to share this too, and I've been much more honest now about certain things with the listeners and on other podcasts. And I say this to people, because people always say, where can people find you? And I say, listen, I just want to be very honest with you. Kevin and I are strivers. We're not arrivers. We don't talk from some mountaintop of we've already arrived and we know everything. Like, if you want Next Level University, you're going to be on a growth train with us. We're not going to, we'll have insights that we've learned from the past, but we're not done. You're not coming here for some guru. I don't have all the answers. What I do know is that we're strivers. And I say this, if you have high humility and high work ethic, and you have a sincere interest to achieve real success in the real world with real people, you're going to love Kev, you're going to love NLU, you're going to love me. And I say this too, this is the next thing. I say, if you want big rewards for minimal effort, do not reach out under any circumstances. It's going to waste your time and mine. Big rewards for minimal effort is not how I play. It's not real.
It's not real.
It's not real. And these people have generational wealth or trust funds, or they inherited their money. There's a lot of inheritance. People don't, I've come to understand, I coach someone at Mass Mutual, he's high up. The amount of inheritance, I don't know if people are thinking about this. You have no idea how much inheritance comes from generational wealth. There's so much. Like, if I were to look at what percentage of wealth is from inheritance, dude, it's a huge amount. I mean, you can look it up. It's probably 50+% of all wealth is inherited wealth. So when you see a 23-year-old with a Porsche, like they didn't build that. That's not a thing. Emilia has a client who's in their early 20s with a Porsche that she isn't wealthy. She has no money. Her dad bought that for her. And that's okay. Whatever. Do you. But this misunderstanding of success is hurting us. It's hurting people. You and I didn't have generational wealth, dude. We had to build it ourselves.
For sure.
Emilia and Taryn took a bet on us.
Big bet.
Big bet. Yeah. And, I love that about us. I want to earn this. I don't want something given to me. What are we doing here?
I don't mind it,
Not a fan, man.
I don't ask for it. I don't ask for it, and I don't rely on it. It wouldn't stop me from working. But if somebody sent me, wired me a check for $100 million, it would be like, that's pretty cool.
I wouldn't take it, man.
I know. I wouldn't tell interested. You. There would be signs.
Hey, man, where'd you get that yacht?
Yeah, there would be signs. Don't worry.
Yeah, it'd be a couple ATVs.
Don't even worry about it. Somebody, I was on their podcast, and again, I don't recommend doing this. Even I didn't even want to do it, but I did it. There was a back and forth. I checked in. How you doing? Long time no talk. They said, it's been a while. Do you have any feedback from our interview? And I was like, fuck.
Yeah. I love it.
How much do you want?
I love when you get that question.
How much do you want?
I love it.
I said, yeah, it feels like you're putting on a persona that comes from a place of insecurity. I would just suggest that you, person? Yes. Yeah. I would just suggest to you that you lose the safety net. Yeah. And it would make for a more organic conversation.
Sweetheart, too.
Sweetheart.
Puts on such a show.
Great person.
Yeah, too much.
Great person. Great person. And they responded, I think it said, wow, thank you. And it was like, I don't think that was a good wow,
dude,
thank you.
She's not ready. Yeah.
But
she's asked me for feedback.
But
too.
that was a test for myself of, you know what? I'm going to give maybe a little bit more than I would normally, and I want to see what happens, because if me saying you're amazing and you don't need to change anything is not going to help you. It's not going to help anybody. I'm quote unquote amazing at stuff. It doesn't matter. There's still a lot of work to do. I'm in the best shape I've been in a long time. I got a long ways to go. I'm the best speaker I've ever been. I got a long ways to all that stuff. I'm the most consistent I've been. Good for you. Fucking get better. Awesome. Love that. And I wanted to give some level of construction. Did I give too much? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see in time. But that's maybe a gentle truth that nobody else is going to see, maybe, that nobody else is going to give. And That's the conversation of responsibility versus choice. You feel like it's your responsibility to give the people around you feedback? Do you feel like it's a choice? Can you avoid it? That's a deeper conversation for a different day. All right, what's your next level lesson before we go?
My next level lesson is that success, it is, I don't know if sneaky is the right word. When you meet someone who is of success in a certain area, health, wealth, or love, or all three, very rarely do you see all three, but try to understand taking advice about how to do something from someone who hasn't done it is insanity. You have to take advice from someone who has actually done it and not someone who cheated their way or lied or stole or sold their soul. I'm talking someone who actually fundamentally in the real world created something. You can take their advice and you can take it to heart and you can use it and you can implement it and you can make it your own. Be a great student, but don't be a follower. A follower is someone, and this is what I was guilty of. I asked everybody everything. I wanted to learn from everyone. And I did. I took bad advice because I was asking people who I never should have asked because they had no clue. They would have lost like a lot of people. So at the end of the day, just make sure the feedback that you're getting is accurate.
Mine would be oftentimes, probably more often than not, the truth is inconvenient. And the more you're willing to look at the inconvenient truth, the better off you're going to be. Because that is lack of awareness. That is the blind spots. That's the growth opportunity. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's fun. It does suck. And it also sets you up for an opportunity to get better feedback forever. And I think it's worth it in the long run. Cool. All right. If you're looking for a group of amazing humans who are on this weird-ass growth journey as well, and they're focused on personal development and evolution and all that stuff, we have a private Facebook group called Next Level Nation. We would love to have you there.
We just started a new book called Willpower.
Nice.
By Roy Baumeister and John Tierney. This book is fucking awesome.
Great book.
I was listening to it earlier. It is just amazing. So please join us. It's more accountability, next level books with next level people. We meet every Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This book will change your life. This book will increase your chances of success. I promise you. Health, wealth, and love. And we are there in book club. Do not come to book club unless you want to reach your potential, because I open every book club the same these days, which is, hey, we are not here for fun. If we have fun, that's great. I don't really care if we do or don't. But you better leave here better. It's all I care about.
No Harry Potter.
We're here to reach our potential.
No Harry Potter.
I am a huge fan of Harry Potter, the films, more than the books. But no, we're here to reach our potential, baby. If we're going to R&R, that's later, not in book club. We're not here to R&R. We're here to think differently and to reach our potential.
Respect. That is how you get to the next level. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We'll talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.